what is possible. And the vehicles that we have, we then since saw from 2011 in November when His Excellency unveiled or launched the Kiira EV through to the Kiira EV Smart and the Kayola solar bus. Those three are prototype vehicles. So it's really, you're doing a proof of concept. So for the Kiira EV, you're looking at, because the design intent was, you're moving around the campus, Makerere University, so 80 kilometers is more than sufficient. Then you're seeing the powertrain. So you're really trying out things and seeing the technology and the capabilities you have, and seeing how you can build upon that.
True.
So they are not really vehicles that were built for production, but rather for proof of concept.
Okay.
Now the Kayola bus line, the Kayola EVS and the Kayola diesel, the Kayola coach. Now those are production vehicles. Their intent is market entry.
Okay.
However, we are still cognizant of the fact that the average Ugandan also needs, because when you look at our motorization rate, 13 vehicles per 1,000 people.
Because I wanted to also ask, are you targeting a market from the locals, or you're also tapping into a more bigger market in terms of exporting out of Uganda? And which countries are you looking at if it's exportation? Which countries have you identified and said that if we are done with production, as it is going to happen, which countries do you believe will be the first target market for the exportation of these vehicles?
So just to conclude the thought I had,
okay,
because the 13 vehicles per 1,000 people means that over 98% of Ugandans, if you just use that statistic,
will be
don't own cars.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't own a car.
So you want
cars are really within the CBD of Kampala. That's where the traffic is. I mean, if you move out, you stop seeing cars.
Even the highways are very free.
Yeah, they are very free, very empty. So the bus then becomes important because it's addressing the needs of the mass.
Who actually prefer public transport.
Yeah. Who need the public transport?
Okay.
Because that is the option they have. So the bus, our target market, of course, the charity begins at home, but should not end there. So our target market is firstly Uganda, but we're looking at the ESC, and now even with the integration of DRC and South Sudan, and Uganda is very strategically located, right at the heart
of Africa,
of ESC. We have linkages literally all countries apart from Burundi, which we have to go through Rwanda or TZ to access. But we are perfectly located to serve these markets. But also we are looking at the region of Africa, specifically Sub-Saharan Africa, to have these buses as well be marketed.
Okay, now let's also look at the public perspective. I do believe we as Ugandans are always negative about what is made from our countries. We are always very quick to identify the mistakes that belong to us,
yes,
instead of actually looking up to it as a way of actually feeling more proud. When you look at the journey of Kiira Motors and how Ugandans have been able to accept the idea that, well, Ugandans can as well locally produce vehicles and we can buy them. So from the perspective of you, what has been the reception from most of the Ugandans in terms of accepting the idea of Kiira Motors?
I think the notion of at home being not much appreciated, especially at the start, is international. Because even in the Bible, as we read the Bible, even Jesus himself, in his hometown, was not that much recognized. But it goes ahead to show confidence
for these
in people, in people's minds. How do you create that confidence that indeed, because it is genuine for someone to have doubts, and that's okay. Now the thing is, how do you create a trust and build on confidence such that then you have acceptability? And that is why it was important for Kiira Motors Corporation, for us at the time, to how do we get these buses into the spaces that people actually need the buses. Not just you have an expo, you park it there and people come and see. That doesn't help. So we had to take the buses to the people.
Okay.
So we did a cross-country tour. We literally went to every part of this country with the coach.
But to at least get to...
And people would even board the coach and we drive them a distance and they go to experience it.
And you're building that trust.
We're building that trust. Okay. Then the other thing for the EVS, we did what we called joy rides at the start, where I would go on social media, leave it open. Because social media normally is where you have people posting all kinds of...
Exactly.
So we tell them it's okay. Here is a question, a very simple question, like, for example, what's the range of the electric bus? You can just go on our website and check the range and you can answer the question and get it right. And the first 40 people to answer the question right will get a ride on the Kayola EVS from Kampala to Entebbe on a Sunday. Okay. So we'd have them on board, we engage them, we interact with them, we show them the product, they experience the product for a journey to Entebbe and back on a Sunday afternoon. And that is how we were able to create that confidence. But then also, now that is the confidence of the public, but then we have the customer, the direct customer, who is the bus operator, who is the corporate institution, people in tour and travel. Now for those ones, the strategy has to change a bit. You have to get the product into their hands, literally. And that is where the likes of now Kalita come on board, and they're utilizing the coach with their drivers, Civil Aviation Authority. So that then also enables them to engage with the product at an intimate level.
Have I seen a washroom in one of those?
Yes, the coach has an on-board bathroom and toilet and a fridge. Oh, yeah, it's excellent.
All right. Now, for all of you that are actually joining in, we are discussing more of the future of Uganda's car manufacturing technology. We've actually seen a rise in innovations in the country. And Uganda normally has an annual Science Week, Science and Technology Week.
Yes.
And even last year it did happen at the Kololo airstrip. And as we are also discussing this, before we actually go in for the commercials, I would want to know, what are some of those vehicles that were actually showcased during that Science Week? I didn't attend. I have some friends of mine here who did attend.
Yes.
But if you're to remember very well, what are those that you actually put for most of the Ugandans who took part in that particular week?
That week was amazing. I recall actually we had categorized the exhibition in terms of cities based on the different value chains. So we had the mobility city where the vehicles are. We had the Industry 4+ city, which had things to do with automation, robotics, computing, and the like. We had the pathogen area where there were the vaccines. So there were a number of cities and showcasing different innovations in different spaces. Now for the area of mobility, we had, of course, the Kayola buses there, but we also have a number of innovators. We have people doing tractors for agricultural mechanization. So we had people there like Farasi, we had electric motorbikes. We have three entities that are doing that here. One is Borderwork. Now Borderwork also goes beyond the bike, but also provides sustainable energy storage solutions. Then we had Zembo and International University of East Africa. Those are doing some amazing work there. Then we had our friends from Katwe, Kiira Motor Garage, who also had their Uganda 2 there, a vehicle made in Uganda. There were also some ghetto youth who also had a chopper, and so there were some amazing things that were there. Those who didn't come, you missed. Hope please make sure you calendar the next one that will happen this year. And
we're still with Alan Muhumuza from Kiira Motors. After the break, we have a quick 15 minutes, and we're going to be discussing the future now. Here we've been highlighting something to do with the review, the journey, and maybe some of the key achievements that Kiira has gone through. But we're also going to be looking at the challenges after the break. Not only the challenges, we are also going to be looking at the future prospects. Where do we see the industry growing and where do we see it heading to? As we are more hopeful with technology and innovation in this country. I do believe you would love this conversation to be around. So quick 15 minutes after the break is what we're going to be having, discussing challenges and as well as the future prospects and Uganda's future in car manufacturing technology. Stick around. Good morning. This is Assembly.